welcome to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him at GodsFiveMinutes@gmail.com. Now, here's Ed Wilson with God's 5 Minutes.
Hello, friends. The 24th chapter of Acts records how the Jews, speaking through Tertullus, brought Paul before the Roman governor Felix to press charges against him, intending to bring about his death. With typical cunning and duplicity, Tertullus couched his language in flattery and sophistry, intending to set forth the Jewish arguments in their best light, using insinuation to gain his points. Tertullus' charges were primarily 3 points. First, that Paul had incited rebellion. Second, that he was a principal member of and advocate for a sect. And third, that he had profaned the temple. This last was the strongest reason why the Pharisees were so eager to see him come to harm, but the wily orator knew Felix would be far more concerned with the charge of rebellion, so he mentioned his third grievance almost as an afterthought. Today, I wish to speak to the second of these charges, that Paul was a principal member of and strong advocate for a sect. It was Paul's answer to this charge, coupled with his reasoning of Felix of righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come, that sent a shiver through Felix's wicked spirit, nearly brought him about his salvation, and was as close as the Roman magistrate ever came to finding peace for his dying moments. If we receive Paul's message, perhaps it may minister salvation to us as well. All of this required only 2 sentences from the inspired messenger, and here they are. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things that were written in the law and in the prophets, and have hope toward God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. And herein do I exercise myself, to have always a conscience void of offense toward God and toward men. So picture the scene. Here stands a man on trial for his life. His enemies are talented and unscrupulous, his judge political, larcenous, immoral. Rising far above both judge and accuser, noble Paul places his religious convictions above everything else, including his own life. He is gracious and conciliatory toward the judge, but he will not recant a single particle of his beliefs to accommodate the occasion, no matter how terrible the cost. He does not speak of the wealth of his fathers, of their honorable positions in the community, or the reverence due their graves. He speaks only of the way of their worship, from which he will not depart. They are clearly incidental to the great truths that made them what they were and which he has received. Their greatness in his mind was not so much because they were his ancestors, as because of the God whom they served, and the knowledge of whom they had passed down to their succeeding generations. He does not say he believes his fathers. He says he believes all the things which are written in the law and the prophets. This man has long before forsaken whatever he may have hoped to gain of money, fame, and pleasure. He is a man of travels, often destitute, prepared in every city of the world to face an obstacle with the one aim, winning souls from the dark ways of sin to the gospel of Jesus Christ. Why would anyone do that? Indeed, in all the history of the world, there are so few that have. Well, he answers himself. He has hope toward God that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. How that truth changes our perception of life on this planet. It's but short duration, 70 or 80 years at the most. Resurrection is forever. During a third of those 80 years, early youth and oldest age, we're little able to delight in earth's pleasures due to the infirmity of our flesh. Some of us are born with severe disadvantages in life. Some have made decisions that deprive us of life's best. Paul's answer is that it doesn't matter much, because there is another and better world with resurrection, both of the just and the unjust. And so he announces the great overriding goal of his life, to have a conscience void of offense toward God and men. That's a good place for any of us. Have you talked to God today?
You have been listening to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him by email at GodsFiveMinutes@gmail.com. Tune in next time to hear more encouraging thoughts from God's Word on God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson.